Representative Terrell said you weren't there to present because you were talking with someone about an assault on the House floor.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
Our House computer system apparently doesn't notify you of when you have amendments up in committees that you're not a member of. So that's the reason I missed the meeting. Representative Terrell was referring to something that happened on the House floor. No, I wouldn't dream of filing any sort of assault or anything like that. That would be silly. I'll kind of give you an outline of what happened, and then you all can ask me questions. We had a resolution brought before us today on music therapy. A rather ridiculous, time-consuming resolution. But the significant part of the resolution was that the people that were introduced were actually lobbying for music therapy. Now, we have people come to the House chamber and talk about the benefits of various things, but there's no pending legislation before us. That resolution was up on the board. So it was totally inappropriate for the speaker to recognize them to speak while we're discussing a resolution. And it was totally inappropriate for Representative Wright to even request that they speak while we're doing that resolution. What is typically done is those types of people are sitting in the balcony, and after it's adopted or not adopted, they recognize people and say, would you welcome the people from such and such. I privately went up to Speaker Steele, who was sitting in a chair, and said, Mr. Speaker, as I'm sure you're aware, these people are inappropriately lobbying for the passage of this measure that's before us, and I wish you would ask them to stop. I went back and sat in my chair. At some point, one of the people actually mentioned that we should vote for passage of a House bill. I'm not sure what the number is, but we need to vote for passage of that bill also. At which point I stood and objected. The speaker, while looking at me and making gestures at me, refused to recognize me for my objection, continued to allow them to speak, and they finished. So all that was completely improper. After that, I sat down, we went on about our House business, and Representative Wright came over to my desk a few moments later and said that Representative Reynolds, I just came to apologize for the remarks. And I said, Representative Wright, did you ask the people to stop? He said, I told them ahead of time they couldn't make those kind of remarks. I said, did you ask them to stop? He said, I'm just trying to do the Christian thing and apologize. And I said, Representative Wright, last year you voted for a reprimand against me when I asked similar types of remarks to not be made. And I actually went to the pastor immediately after my objection and asked him to forgive me for objecting. Is that the type of Christian apology you're referring to? He said, I don't want to talk about last year. He began pressing his face against my face, flattening my nose, and raising his voice. Said, if you're not going to accept my apology, and at which point some other members pulled Representative Wright away and he went back to his chair. So I don't expect anything will come of it. I don't think anything should come of it, but I'm happy to explain what happened.
So you're not going to ask for a reprimand against him for his actions?
No, no.
Are you going to file a complaint with the sergeants or anything?
No, no.
So he was actually in your face?
He wasn't in my face. His
on
nose was
touching your face?
flattening my nose on my face. Yes. Physical contact, yes.
But you don't consider that an assault?
I don't consider it anything that I'm going to do anything about other than encourage the speaker to take better charge of his members.
And after this session, has Wright come over, Representative Wright come over and said anything more, or did you just...
No, I don't expect he will. No.
And you all got along at the end of the rest of the session? Did you all have any He says.
Today?
Yeah, today.
No, we had no other conversation after he left my desk.
Have you ever had you've had some heated exchanges on the floor? Ever had one quite that heated, where someone was actually?
No, I've never. I don't think I've ever. Well, we had, during the slightly before, moments before last year, the House chose to reprimand me. Representative Kirby pulled virtually the same stunt in the lobby in front of the elevators.
There was actually.
Physical contact, yes. Yeah, there were at least 4 members that pulled him away. So yes, that has happened before.
A couple of years ago, you went to go out in the parking lot.
I don't recall that.
Oh, Representative Miller, you were.
Oh, no. That's, I simply said I would be happy to discuss that bill with him anytime, anywhere.
Do you think because you have disagreed with the speaker on the past, there have been challenging some of the rulings from the chair, whether it's him personally or his designated, do you think he literally didn't try to come to your aid?
I believe that if the House video shows the people speaking from the well, you can see the speaker's gestures immediately behind him on the video, and I probably will examine that myself. But he was obviously making eye contact with me, shrugging as if, what is it that you want me to do? I had already gone up to him and expressed what I expected him to do, but he didn't fulfill the duties of his job.
When this happened after the resolution was done, where they were still speaking up there? Were they still up there speaking?
No.
After,
This
right?
was afterwards. We'd gone on to the next order of business. He'd come back. The people had left the chamber. He'd gone back to his desk.
I mean, the speaker didn't see Representative Wright in your face, and then he could have galloped and said, Mr. Representative Wright.
Not to my knowledge. There were a number of members that came by later and said, what in the world happened back there? And I said, well, what did you see? And they go, well, I didn't see anything. So, no, unless someone carefully observed, they wouldn't have noticed the physical contact. They would have thought 2 people were standing face to face having a discussion.
How long do you think it lasted? 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds?
No, there was quite a bit of conversation, so
Right, but I mean,
probably 2 minutes. The physical contact, 10 seconds.
So would you describe it as a physical altercation?
No. I would describe it as Representative Wright losing his temper and displaying it very poorly.
More of a verbal altercation, I guess, getting in your personal space.
Yeah, well, yes, that's, I don't want to say more of a verbal, it was just, I don't think I could add anything to it.
And you say a couple of other members kind of pulled him away from you at that point, after he
yes.
touched you.
Were you able to see where they were, who were helping you?
Well, one was my desk mate.
Representative Ritz.
There was at least one more, but I do not know who it was because I wasn't focused on
Right.
the eyes of anybody else around me.